The journey to realizing the eternal self is not a simple one. It's a path filled with questions, experiences, and profound truths. The teachings of great sages like Sri Ramana Maharshi provide a beacon of light, guiding us through the maze of ignorance, ego, and doubt. Today we'll dive deep into the obstacles that hinder realization and explore the profound wisdom that can lead us to the eternal peace within. Seeing God in any form and even communicating with Him is as real as the reality you perceive in your waking state. Just as in the waking state, you identify with the physical body and see gross objects. In the mental plan, such as dreams, you identify with the subtle body and perceive subtle objects. However, in the absence of identification, as in deep sleep, there is no perception at all. The nature of what you see is deeply tied to the state of the seer. For example, by consistent meditation and devotion, one might begin to see the form of God in dreams and with time, even in the waking state. Yet, such visions remain tied to the plan of the perceiver and are inherently transient. As Sri Ramana Maharshi said, the seer and the seen arise and set together, only the self remains. A vision, even one as divine as seeing Lord Shiva, is still an object of perception. Where there is an object, there must also be a subject, the one who sees. This duality inherently limits the experience. What appears must also disappear, for no vision can be eternal. True realization lies beyond the transient. It is the eternal essence of Shiva, which is not seen but simply is. Similarly, the experience of Vishwarupa Darshan, the cosmic form, and the Vishwa Atma Darshan, the universal self, is beyond the gross faculties of eyesight. It is an inner realization of being, a state where there is no second. As Sri Ramana Maharshi said, there are no two, there is no second. The self alone is. The story of Ashtavakra and King Janak beautifully illustrates the power of surrender. When the disciple completely surrenders to the master, shedding all traces of individuality, the eternal self is revealed. Complete surrender means the dissolution of ego, which is the root of all misery. The self, free from ego, is pure happiness. As Ramana Maharshi explained, to the extent of the surrender, the grace of the Master works. If the surrender is total, the help is complete. There exists a state that transcends both effort and effortlessness. Until that state is realized, effort is necessary. The experience of bliss, even once, creates a yearning to return to it repeatedly. For a jnani, engaging in thoughts becomes as difficult as it is for an ajnani to still their mind. The eternal peace of the self becomes their natural state. Sri Ramana Maharshi affirmed this, saying, "Peace is your natural state. It is the mind that obstructs the natural state." Devata, the chosen deity, and Guru serve as powerful aids on this journey. However, even the most potent aid requires your effort. For instance, can spectacles or the sun see for you? No, you must see with your own eyes. Similarly, it is you who must discover your true nature. As Sri Ramana Maharshi reminded us, the Guru is within you. Turn inward and find the truth. The journey of realization often unfolds in stages. Initially, the self is perceived as external objects. Next, the self appears as a void. Finally, the self is realized as the self. In this ultimate stage, there is no seeing because there is no separation. Seeing becomes being. Ramana Maharishi succinctly put it, when the mind merges into the self alone shines. The Bhagavad Gita emphasizes moderation as the key for every aspirant. Sleep, one of the first obstacles for a seeker, can be managed by controlling thoughts, activity, and diet. Balance is essential for progress on this path. As Ramana Maharshi said, self-restraint leads to self-mastery. The second obstacle on this path is vikshep, the distractions of the external world. Our attention is diverted by the endless allure of sense objects. These distractions pull us away from the inward focus necessary for self-realization. The third obstacle is kashya, the lingering impressions of past experiences with sense objects. These memories and attachments arise in the mind, further clouding our ability to remain still and present. The fourth obstacle is somewhat surprising. It is ananda or bliss. While bliss might seem like a reward, Sri Ramana Maharshi explains that even this is an obstacle. In this state, there is still a sense of separation from the source of bliss. The enjoyer feels, "I am enjoying ananda." This duality must also dissolve. The final stage is samadhana, leading to samadhi, the state of perfect absorption, where one becomes one with reality. In this state, all duality ceases. The enjoyer, the act of enjoyment, and the bliss itself merge into the infinite ocean of Sachidananda, existence, consciousness, and bliss. As Sri Ramana Maharshi said, happiness is your nature. It is not wrong to desire it. What is wrong is seeking it outside when it is inside. A jnani, or one who has realized the self, exists in a state far beyond the limitations of the mind. To the jnani, there are no others, because the concept of separation no longer exists. The power of a jnani's self-realization surpasses all occult or supernatural powers. But what is the greatest gift a jnani can offer others. It is peace and happiness, not through deliberate action, but through their mere presence. Sri Ramana Maharshi explained, "Your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world." Peace arises when the mind is completely annihilated, when thought cease, the disturbance of the mind vanish, and perfect peace reigns. The jnani, having dissolved their individuality, cannot perceive others in the way we do. Yet, their state of realization radiates peace, bringing happiness to all around them. The poet Alfred Tennyson once described a profound experience in a letter to B.P. Blood. He wrote, "A kind of waking trance I have frequently had quite off from boyhood, when I have been all alone. This has generally come upon me through repeating my own name 2 or 3 times to myself silently, till all at once, as it were, out of the intensity of consciousness of individuality, the individuality itself seemed to dissolve and fade away into boundless being. And this not a confused state, but the clearest of the clearest, the surest of the surest, the weirdest of the weirdest, utterly beyond words, where death was an almost laughable impossibility, the loss of personality, if so it were, seeming no extinctions but the only true life." When this passage was read to Sri Ramana Maharshi, he affirmed, "That state is called abidance in the self." As we walk this sacred path, let us remember, these obstacles are not walls to halt our journey, but stepping stones to deepen our resolve. Vikshep, Kashya, and even the fleeting joy of Anand are but transient clouds hiding the ever-present light of the self. With the grace of the Guru's wisdom and unwavering faith, each of these hurdles can be transcended. The Guru's teachings are like a guiding flame, illuminating the way through the darkness of doubt and distraction. Do not stop, do not linger in the illusion of the mind. The destination is far too precious, the infinite peace and bliss of the self, where all divisions dissolve and you stand as the timeless truth itself. As Sri Ramana Maharshi said, grace is ever present. It is only necessary to know how to get the divine grace by self-surrender. Keep walking, keep surrendering, and with the Guru's grace, you will surely reach the state of the jnani, where you abide as pure existence, consciousness, bliss, forever free, forever complete.